Gamesthetic, episode 91. I'm Oxley with SparkE3. Hope you're having a phenomenal day today, whatever day you're listening or perhaps watching this. Today's episode, talking about Xbox Bethesda Showcase. It's our third episode in all of the coverage that we've been doing with everything going on this past week. And as you can see on the screen, I got both the boys here with me, rocking it over Discord today. Zach and John, how you doing? How you feeling today?
Good. I'm feeling it. I mean, it's going to be a show to talk about. I mean, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I don't know as much as you, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I definitely think I'm probably going to be the one that enjoyed the show the most. John, what about you? How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good today. I didn't get to watch the showcase as it aired, and you were immediately kind of throwing out some comments on it.
Yeah.
So, like, hyping it up, so I was like, okay, all right, we'll see what we got here.
Yeah.
Not my favorite showcase in the world, but it wasn't bad.
No, I definitely think it was a good showcase. I will say it did not hit like the sky high expectations, but it did hit a lot of expectations for me, if that makes sense. Like it didn't just completely blow the roof off, but I do think that it was a damn good show. Looking forward to chatting about a few different things here today. Make sure to go check out our website, SparkE3.com. You can sign up for free or sign up for $5 a month, get early access podcast episodes and exclusive content like the one where I put the video up where Zach's a madman and he just destroys his body for the jokes, which I admire the dedication, but you're a madman. As well as yeah, that's on the website. That conversation is on the website for members only. So go sign to the website, you get access to that. As well as go follow us over at Twitter at GameStaticPod. You can stay up to date with pretty much everything going on in the gaming world, as well as our show. With that said, we can go ahead and kind of jump into things because it was a 95-minute show. So there is a lot. There's a lot that happened. This was a very, very beefy show here today. All right, so immediately led off with Redfall, the other Bethesda game that was delayed by Arcane Studios. I will say you definitely got a lot of that Deathloop vibe with this. You know, I got the Deathloop vibe here in terms of like the styling of the game. You know, I got that vibe.
I feel you were sort of on the Deathloop thing, but I feel actually more because it was definitely a different change compared to the animated cinematic we got for Redfall. So when it started, I was very confused what it was until the vampire thing showed up and went, Redfall?
Yep.
So the visual design changed. I don't know if it changed or they just wanted to throw us off with the animated cinematic last time. I mean, overall, it looks good. I'm more willing to want to pick out Redfall, but I'm sort of a sucker for anything that's Left 4 Dead Back 4 Blood-esque, which was more what I was getting with it, with just abilities.
Yeah, this with a 2023 release and day one on Game Pass, so that kind of gives me a little bit of, you know, like, I may just give it a quick download.
Yeah, because the gameplay they showed along with it, it was interesting to say the least with all the different abilities that were kind of shown off with it.
Yep.
Because at first it's like without really any preamble, they just had them going off, and I was watching it going, what the fuck is happening in this game?
See, sorry, John, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, actually seeing some of the gameplay, it looked pretty good. I mean, the intro where like they had to hit the one vampire that was coming in like multiple times and stabbed it, and a bunch more came in. I was like, okay, I wonder how many of it, or if that's how it is for all of the vampires, or like if they have like the more specialized ones that we tend to see, that because just having the one type of enemy that was each of them taking like 4 or 5 shotgun blasts or something,
right?
It's like I found that to be interesting, because if they just have like various types of vampires, I assume they will with like different abilities or different ways that they come after you. That could be very interesting.
I mean, it seemed like it did because we saw a couple variations plus the cultist people who are using weapons and whatnot. But I mean, I feel like it's got a nice blend between Back 4 Blood style and almost Borderlands, because we did see a brief moment where it was showing a bit of a skill tree for one of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually confused when it started, because kind of like you, I didn't know what the game was until the vampire showed up. I was looking at it going, is this something Back 4 Blood related? I wouldn't expect it, but...
Yeah, because it's definitely got that style, because Back 4 Blood is the most recent game that has that similar style.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I will say that this gameplay I feel like really put the game in a good light compared to the previous time we saw it, which was just a CGI trailer. Because like the reception out of this is pretty positive online from what I'm seeing right now. So that's gonna be something to watch out for, especially like I said, since it's coming day one Game Pass, of course. Just makes it easy access for a lot of people. Next up, we did have Hollow Knight Silksong, which got some people chatting where it's just like, who would have guessed that Microsoft was the one that would have thrown that into a showcase and not Nintendo? Because people, this is like been like the most requested, most like expected thing from Nintendo and like an indie showcase. But that's coming to Game Pass, of course, and then a game from the Rick and Morty creators. High on Life, dude. I was watching this, and man, what an acid trip of a game this is.
I mean,
it was so, dude. This game was so,
pissing me off the whole time.
Man, this game was wild.
As soon as I saw it, I suddenly went, what was that game? Someone saves the universe or whatnot, which was a VR title originally.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing. I mean, it's definitely interesting. I don't know if I'll play it, but it's definitely a unique game.
Yeah.
Concept and everything with the
very unique
talking weapons at you.
Oh, the talking weapons, dude! I was already getting to me just in the trailer. Oh man.
That's coming out October of this year, and it is a day one Game Pass, which I think I'm going to pass on that one. That one, I'm kind of in the boat with John, where I'm just like, this is one kind of making me mad, and two is like, what is this acid trip of a game? But next up, one of the couple biggest highlights of this show, because really in my mind there are really four things that really stand out from this show, well, maybe five. And this is one of them. And because this really came out of nowhere, in my opinion. I haven't heard shit about this, and it's just like, this is an insane amount of value. It really is. And that is Riot and Xbox Game Pass teaming up. You'll be able to download like League of Legends, Wild Rift, Legends of Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, and Valorant all through Game Pass, whether it's through PC or mobile. And the reason why I'm saying I know I've already watched some reaction videos from a couple people, and they don't play League, for example. They're just like, I don't see the point in this, if you can already play it for free, and they openly said, I don't play League, so I don't know what makes it great. But no, like the fact that like if you play like League of Legends through Game Pass, whatever, you'll get like all the champions unlocked, or all the champions for Wild Rift as well, or foundation sets for Runeterra and stuff, like all agents for Valorant. Like, bro, that is a stupid amount of value. Like, just to have that.
That is a ridiculous amount, because I mean, if you look at like pricing wise, just League of Legends alone, if you were going to pay for all the characters, you're looking at like easily 1,000 probably.
Yeah.
For all that, just with how many champions League of Legends has. I mean, and it saves so much time for people as well. Like even just Valorant itself, because to unlock a character, you have to get through 5 levels of personal pass, which you have to do playing as other characters, which takes quite a bit of time. So just being able to jump in and just mess with whatever character you want is nice for people.
Yeah, it was interesting because, like you said, it kind of came out of nowhere. I wasn't in any way expecting that. But you did leave out the best part about it.
Little Legends?
The Little Legends.
With TFT, you get Little Legends for free.
Yeah, the select Little Legends unlocked,
It's like I was watching it, I was keeping my eye out to see which ones popped out. I'm like, I may connect it through there just to get the Little Legends.
I mean, I know I will, because it looked like several Series 1, and they showed off Chibi Echo. I'm not sure if they would give that one away, though.
Yeah, that one caught me off guard when it popped up. I don't expect that one to be given away, because that's one of the chibi champions tend to be some of the more expensive ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the premium ones.
But I mean, the other ones, but I don't think I have most of those, so might as well get them while I get them just because I can. Right.
Yeah. And I will say, just this sort of approach that they're taking really. Just, it's kind of like what you were just saying about the ability to like try someone. It just opens up the ability for new players to get involved with the game. You know what I mean? Like, and then I think that's a big win, because like that's always been like I enjoy League. I haven't played it in a while, but like that's always been kind of a small turnoff for me. It's just like how many champions they are and how much of a pain they are to get them if you just don't spend a ton of money. You know what I mean? So just having an easier way to have access to champions, I think, is good for all players. You know, especially getting introduced to new players. So this partnership really did come out of nowhere, and the partnership's a massive dub. Like it is a massive dub. That is one of the highlights of the show, in my opinion, for sure.
It is a massive dub for them and everything, and it is very nice because it is all of Riot's live service games. The only thing that's sort of a downside of it to me is just
the players that spent money.
Do what now?
The players who have spent money?
No, not that.
Oh, okay.
I was just thinking more of just what League of Legends, and not as bad, but I know some part of Valorant is the toxicity of the community. For people who may be coming in through Game Pass and just playing it and just picking whatever champion because they have them all and just immediately being flamed by people.
That's true. Yeah. Well, that's those communities for you. That's a very fair point, though. Next up, we got another look at Plaguetale Requiem. It's still set to come out this year, but they didn't give a release date. That is a day one Game Pass. I really want to like these games. Like, I really do. I still haven't beat Plaguetale Innocence, I think, whatever the first one's called. I'm almost done with the game. Like, I'm probably 80% done with the game, and I just stopped playing. I want to like these games, but it just didn't pull me in like it did some other people. But I don't know. Maybe this one could be different. We'll see. We got a pretty extended look at Forza Motorsport. I know none of us here are fans of like any sort of racing games or racing, but from the looks of it, everything they did, I mean, they are really going above and beyond for this game because it looked absolutely insane in terms of just like visually.
Stunning.
Yeah, no.
Was this the one that had the crossover with Hot Wheels?
No, that's Horizon.
Horizon.
Okay, that was Horizon. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Yeah,
but
that one was Horizon 5. Which the Hot Wheels one looked fun.
I mean, that sort of fits Horizon just because Horizon's just open world, drive around, do whatever.
Yeah,
as for
more
Motorsport,
arcade style.
It looks very nice, and for people of that fan base, they're really going to enjoy that just with all that customization added to the vehicles and whatnot, and just being able to control, having the testing of the track settings changing due to new daylight patterns.
Right. I will say for anyone that watched the showcase and they're a fan of Forza, definitely go and watch the upload of that breakdown because it's the upload where you can watch it in all of its glory. Because if you're just watching a live stream, it's compressing the video. So if you want to see that shit in its full-blown 4K beauty, go watch the upload afterwards because that's when you can view it. Next up, we did get, showcasing a little bit of Flight Simulator. It's 40th anniversary. Shit's been around, man. Coming out in November with Halo Pelican free add-on right now. Shout out to that. People are gonna have fun with that. Then got a pretty good look at Overwatch 2, something that's been kind of like radio silent here for a little bit. Besides, beta's coming out now. But other than that, it's just like for such a long time, it's just like, all right, what the hell's going on with this project? Early access begins October 4th. Got a new look at the Junker Queen character as well. Aura History Untold. Got a game there, day one Game Pass. Got a look at Elder Scrolls Online High Isle, as well as Fallout 76 The Pit. That one's day one Game Pass. And then, the Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels. That's coming out next month, July 19th. Yep. Got a quick look at Arc 2, but nothing to really write home about.
This was where I got disappointed because I saw Arc coming up. I was like, oh, we're finally going to see something on the new Arc. And it's like 20 seconds of just here's a couple dinosaurs and here's a shot of
Vin Diesel.
Here's a shot of Vin Diesel with the girl behind him doing a voiceover.
Yep.
I'm like, wait, this is almost the same thing we got last time. You just showed us dinosaurs.
Yeah, it wasn't anything to write home about it. Yeah, no, it wasn't anything to write home about. But it is a console launch exclusive, though.
Yeah, and it's like that one frustrated me a bit just because I was like, if you're going to show it again, at least give us something. Don't you just showed it to us again to say, hey, we did mention this before. Don't forget about that.
That one coming out in 2023 and day one Game Pass. Next, got to look at Scorn, console launch exclusive. That's coming out this year, October 21st, 2022. And then day one Game Pass for that as well. Flintlock, Siege of Dawn, early 2023, day one Game Pass. Is this the first time we've seen this game? I can't remember if that was a world premiere or not. Because like I was looking at this and I'm like, what? I have never seen that game before. If we've seen it previously.
As far as I'm aware, that's the first time it's been shown off at a showcase like this.
Okay.
I mean, it seemed interesting. It's definitely one I'll probably at least look into. Don't know if I'll play it, but I'll definitely look into it more.
Gotcha. Next up, we did have this Minecraft game. It wasn't exactly like an RTS like we were kind of being, rumored about, but, it is a strategy game, action strategy game. Minecraft Legends coming out 2023, day one Game Pass. The cinematic for it looked pretty dope. Cinematic though, they did show a little bit of gameplay, so it looks kind of interesting there. Have to take a look at that later. Lightyear Frontier, console launch exclusive there, spring 2023, day one on Game Pass. Gunfire Reborn coming to Game Pass here in October.
It's gonna be fun on console.
This one, I was told Zach before we started here, I did not realize this game wasn't already on console. I assumed it was, just because this is a fantastic game for people.
Yeah, I've heard it's a lot of fun. Like, because I know the other Zach friend that we have has absolutely raved about it.
Yeah, this game is fantastic.
I was going to say, it was in early access for a long time. I think it just did full release, about almost a year ago now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a little while, but yeah, it's like they've since it went into beta, they've got like additional characters, different like varying bosses and stuff too. So it's a lot of fun. People are gonna really enjoy that one.
Yeah, that's one that's been on my radar to want to try out. When they come into Game Pass, might jump into it. We'll see. Next up, we have the Last Case of Benedict Fox, console launch exclusive, spring 2023, day one on Game Pass. As Dusk Falls, July 19th, coming out here very, very soon. That art style was very, very interesting. The styling of the game, it was, because it is a visual novel, whatever.
Yeah.
The styling of it was very, very fascinating to me. That is day one Game Pass as well.
I'd be curious to see about it because at least how they finished up the trailer, it almost seems like it may be Detroit like human style.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got.
Choices.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I got because they showed off like the different branching paths and shit. So yeah, Detroit Become Human was some good vibes there.
Yeah.
So that's one we may have to take a look at. Naraka Blade Point, console launch exclusive, cross-play support, new campaign mode coming out on my birthday, June 23rd. Shout out to that.
Have any of us played that?
No, I haven't played it, but it looks cool.
I haven't played it. I've looked into it, but I just didn't want to buy into it.
Oh.
Okay. I was just curious because it said campaign mode coming out. I was like, what the hell is a campaign mode for this? I thought it was a battle royale.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, basically, in a way. I'm curious about the campaign mode because I don't know much about the game other than it just being like some action battle royale, whatever. I mean, it's always looked cool, but I just never jumped into it. So I don't know. Maybe have to look into it. We did get a game announcement. I think this is the first time we've seen this. Pentiment. I didn't really show a whole lot. Don't know what this game is. Then got the full game of Grounded. Has it been in like early access or something? Because that's why they advertise like full game.
It's been in early access. They've just like every time they've done a show for the past like 2 years, they always talk about it, but it's usually like a new raid boss or a new like a new area coming in, new boss or something like that. So I mean, full release is cool.
Fuck that game to hell. Irvin, you know why.
There's an arachnophobia slider that makes
it
look even scarier than the spiders.
Yeah,
because they're just it's like a weird marshmallow cloud walking at you.
Dude, no matter what, fuck that game straight to hell. That game's horrifying.
Something's wrong with you too.
Airben, console launch exclusive there, 2023 day one Game Pass, and then this one. By God, was I not expecting this to be at the show? But we got to look at Diablo 4. Honestly, I've kind of forgot about Diablo 4, if we're going to be honest. So that goes into why I did not expect to see anything involving this game. But Necromancer was confirmed as the 5th and final class alongside Barbarian, Druid, Sorcerer, and Rogue. There was gameplay shown that was captured from the Series X. Crossplay confirmed, couch co-op, which that's cool, coming out next year in 2023 is the current slated release window. Did you guys have any real opinions on Diablo 4? We've all kind of dabbled into this in some capacity. So any thoughts?
I mean, it was a nice choice for the Blizzard game besides Overwatch 2 to really show off at the Xbox specific
Right.
thing. As for how it looked, I mean, it looked solid. I mean, everything looked nice and flowed well with the combat and everything, and did seem a bit different compared to Diablo 3, which so many years ago now.
Yeah.
So I mean, it looked very entertaining at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of the kind of the direction they've gone with this one as opposed to Diablo 3, where at least from everything they've showed us, your screen's not just filled with enemies at all times or anything. Everything, like when you're using an ability or when you're doing something, actually looks impactful. That'll be determined when we can actually play the game. But I mean, seeing Necromancer as a final class, I mean, makes sense. Necromancer's a beloved class for Diablo. People love playing it.
That's my favorite to play.
Yeah, so I mean, it's good to see that it is actually going to be the final class, because I think a lot of people were expecting it.
Right. No, it was that was a very pleasant surprise for me. Is getting a look at Diablo 4 and actually getting to see some gameplay and stuff. That was one of my personal highlights of the show, because I mean that one and the Riot one, they both just came out of nowhere. You know, haven't heard anything about either or, you know, being on the show. So those are both pleasant surprises. Next up, did get a look at Sea of Thieves Season 7. Man, this thing's been around. It's made its redemption story and everything. I mean, it's rocking. Got to look at Ravenlock as well, coming out in 2023, day one Game Pass. A game called Cocoon, which coming out of Cocoon looked horribly disturbing. That's going to be a console launch exclusive, 2023 day one Game Pass. Wulong Fallen Dynasty, early 2023 day one Game Pass, made by Team Ninja. How are we feeling about this one?
See, you're forgetting one of the teams on that. It's not just Team Ninja. It's Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Koei Tecmo and then I saw Team Ninja, I'm like, all right, Zach may be into this. We'll see. I was curious of your thoughts.
I mean, it started with Koei Tecmo, which I was like, okay, Koei Tecmo. Then it still went up Team Ninja. I went, what is this crazy shit? Because Team Ninja, all their games are very action-oriented and very robust and just big flashing moves and everything like that. And then Koei Tecmo is known for the Warriors series and just waves and waves of enemies and just demolishing them. So I will be very curious to see more on this game, because it doesn't seem like traditional Warrior style of just, hey, here's characters, we're just going to go sweep through a map. It seems like Team Ninja had a bit more on the reins in terms of storyline, so we are going to follow a specific character and storyline. And it was definitely a Team Ninja style, because it looked like it was set in the Three Kingdoms era, which is the Koei Tecmo usual setting, but it was definitely Team Ninja style of the characters.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I thought it looked actually pretty neat. I'll be looking forward to seeing more information on it. I mean, like I said, I thought it looked pretty cool, and I was definitely curious of your thoughts on it. The next thing that we had, this one's big. It's just big for the franchise. It just kind of opens, the floodgates. While I'm not a fan of this franchise, obviously I understand the weight of the franchise that it has today and how much it's risen in popularity, and just I've already, just from what I've seen and how people's reaction, just the impact of this is massive. But Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and Persona 5 Royal, all coming to Xbox and PC, Xbox One, Series X, PC, whatever, through Game Pass and everything, starting with P5R in October. Zach, I mean, how do you feel towards this as a fan of the franchise? Because it's like, yeah, I mean, you have these games, whatever, but I mean, them not being, like trapped on like Sony or, like P5R, not P5R, P4 Gold and whatever, only being on like Steam before that, the Vita or whatever. Like this is massive for Persona. How are you feeling about it?
I mean, it's good for the franchise. I mean, it did expand off the PlayStation 1 not with PC, but with it being on Game Pass, it'll definitely be a lot more accessible to people just being able to download and play it. So, I mean, it's good for the franchise as a whole. I'll be honest, I don't feel like the franchise was hurting, but I mean, it's still good for the franchise because it gets it out to so many more people at an easier accessibility, right. Especially for 3, which is the oldest of the two, of all of them. I mean, I know a lot of people have played 4 now at this point, and then 5, but this is the first update, remaster, or whatever it's going to end up being of 3. Yeah, it's the first one since P3 Portable itself on the PSP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that would be the biggest one that's going to get a win out of this, is just Persona 3 coming back to the limelight, and just the streamlined system from Persona 3 Portable.
Yeah. The coming to Game Pass PC is, I like that personally because Persona 4 Golden, I never played, and it's been one that I've kind of wanted to play, and I'd see it on Steam, but I never ended up picking it up. So it'll be nice when that actually makes its way, and because then I can give that a shot. But yeah, I had a moment when it first started showing it where I forgot that these were like PlayStation exclusive games. And because I just, in my head, I just associated them with console.
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a second. I was like, it's like I was watching Persona 4 Gold, and I'm like, isn't that? Oh no, it's not. So yeah. And like you said, Zach, Persona's not really hurting.
No, it's not.
Or the Persona franchise wasn't really hurting, especially with how popular 5 was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it just opens a doorway for more people to be able to enjoy those games.
Yeah, no, I think the biggest win is just 3 in itself, just more people getting to experience 3, which was the first one, which led to the current Persona system that we have, versus 1 and 2, which were a fair bit different. But I also think it's just an upscale versus a remaster, because from the shots they were showing of Persona 3 Portable, they looked a bit dated.
Yeah, okay. I don't know what the original game looked like, but I did kind of think that it would, did look a little bit dated just looking at it. But, I will say one other thing to just kind of keep an eye out for is now that it's kind of breaking its barrier of it just basically always being like PlayStation or anything, is now watch for any potential like Switch ports down the line, because that's something that I think could be very much explored, because you got to keep in mind just like the powerful hold that Nintendo has on, the Japan market. That's why you see so many JRPGs just go over to Switch and just do very well in Japan, and be the same thing for Persona. You get those on the Switch and it's going to boom over in Japan. You know what I mean? So that's just stuff to watch out for. Zach, you have a confused face there.
Well, it's already super big in Japan.
Well, I know, no. I mean,
Persona series is not hurting.
I know. Look, no. I understand it's not. No, listen. I understand it's not. But the point is, like, the Switch is like gotten so many JRPGs. Like, it's like because of the Switch being one of the top selling consoles of all time in Japan, you see so many of these other games that appeal to that audience on that console. Because I mean, like, you look at PlayStation 4, you look at PlayStation 5, and the Switch, man, it's dominant. So you get more games like that on the Switch. You're continuing to give that audience, a more today 2022 availability of said games. I'm not trying to make it seem like the Persona franchise is hurting. I'm trying to make it seem like, hey, Persona franchise is about to even take off even more.
I think the way Alex was like, the thought process in his head is, if it did make its way to like we get a Switch port for these games, it would then explode again, because there's plenty of households out there that don't have PlayStation, Xbox, but they have a Switch or multiple Switches. So he's not saying it's hurting. He's saying it would then once again explode, like they do whenever they release a new version, or like whenever a new version of a game that people were already excited for.
Thank you for defining my jumbled mess, John, because I don't explain things very well.
I knew what you were trying to do. I was just like, let me try to decode this in a minute.
Thank you for decoding. I appreciate you. All right, next up we had the Kojima Xbox confirmed partnership. We already heard the stuff earlier this year or earlier last year about him signing a contract to do a game. No information. He basically just showed up and said, "Hey, I'm Kojima. Yeah. Bye, I'm Kojima."
Like they introduced Kojima. He's talking about like, I've been wanting to make this game for years, and now with the power of Xbox, I'll be able to. So I'm gonna start doing that. I was just like, oh, okay, well.
So after this,
glad you showed up, Kojima.
After the show, it was basically, I saw some stuff come out from the show where it's like, it is confirmed that it is this fabled cloud game that he's wanting to create that's completely utilizing the power of the Xbox Cloud. So that's what it's going to be. Like I've seen some wild rumors on it where it's like he's trying to get it set up where like, your phone will get text messages from the game or for whatever you're doing. Like characters are texting you in the game or something. I don't know, man. It's Kojima. Expect the unexpected.
Kojima move. Like if he's literally focusing on the use of the cloud, that game's gonna freak some people the fuck out.
Yeah, because that's one thing he didn't say a lot, but he did specifically say he's like, I've been waiting for the cloud to become as powerful as it is. And with the power of Microsoft and their cloud service, I'll finally be able to make this project.
I mean, with knowing Kojima, with his end goal with this game is, I would not be surprised by it at all if you play it on your PC, console, whatever it is, and once you start it, it connects to anything that's connected to your to the Xbox Cloud in your house.
Yes.
And in your house becomes the play area, not just your straight-in console, your entire fucking house.
That's gonna be a freaky fucking game.
Yeah, it is, dude. So I can't help but to be curious though.
In the slightest.
I'm very, very curious though.
And with it, Microsoft's just like, oh, we're getting Kojima to make a game. We're gonna let him do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be fascinating to see it later. Oh. And then the show closed off with Starfield, which we were kind of iffy on if it should just close off with it or lead off with it because of the big delay, of course. But they did close off with Starfield with an extended look. A lot of information on the game, showed some gameplay. Todd Howard just kind of more hammering the, be you, do what you want sort of mentality. Like, hey, this is how the game is designed. Fully customized. And it's he talked about how it's like the character customization is more advanced than anything that we've had before in previous games because this is the first game on their new engine and everything. And then just gave some more looks at like the customizing of like your ship, or you can build like an outpost and stuff like that, and hire people for said outpost. Got a quick got some looks at some story elements, and then kind of gave you a taste of just how big this game is, where it's like looking at the map, backing out, looking at the map again, backing out. It's like all these solar systems, over 1,000 planets that you can fully explore. A lot of No Man's Sky vibes. And that's kind of the common thing that I've kind of seen online, where it's like a lot of people, it's like, okay, so this is like the AAA No Man's Sky that we wish No Man's Sky was, whenever it was coming out. That was some stuff that I kind of saw. I mean, I was very impressed with it. The first time we've seen anything.
Well, it's like actually seeing like the gameplay and some of that. There were some aspects of what they were talking about where I'm like, take it or leave it. Like the ship, customizing your ship as much as you want to, building it, being able to fine tune it however you want to. Whatever, I'll make a basic ass ship and be done with it unless I have
That's
to
fair.
upgrade
I can relate to that.
It's like base building. I mean, I'll build the base to the extent that I probably have to. That's not usually my type of thing in the game.
Now that I do like.
The other aspects of it where they were showing the skill tree, showing like like how the combat worked and some of that I was much more interested in. But the thing I'm wondering is, with the amount of planets that they're talking about that you can explore, what I'm starting to wonder about is like enemy diversity and how much of it is going to be copy pasted to like throughout the planets. Because it's one thing to have thousands of planets and you could have thousands of different enemies, but by the time you go through and explore it, you're going to see a lot of the same stuff over and over again. It's the only thing that I'm kind of worried about. I'm assuming with how well everything looked, because the game looked fantastic.
Yep.
With how it looks and what they did show off to us, I'm pretty sure they'll have enough variation of it where that won't be too much of an issue, or at least I'm hoping so.
Yeah, and that is a very fair concern, because that was something I thought about. It's just like how much is this going to be copy and paste, because we've seen it with previous Bethesda titles where it's like, almost like copy and paste of like what we'll see from like NPCs at times and stuff like that. So that's a very fair concern. And also another thing that just kind of concerns me is like, is this game going to be exactly as they're describing, or is it going to come out and be like, oh, it's not fully open worlds, but you have large open zones that you can go explore. You know what I mean? Like, because that is a lot.
What I would expect.
Yeah, like if that world is completely the entire planet fully explorable. Like, this is like just such an ambitious project that it's unreal, and it makes sense why it's taken so long to even really get to this point, because they've said they've wanted to make this game for so long. But like, you're concerned with it, like potentially like every planet having its own, like enough of its spice to make it, feel unique. That is a very fair concern that I'm hoping we can get some more info on later. Now, the shots they made of like multiple planet, like, landscape, that looked awesome. Like, it's just like, okay, I mean, they're really going for a lot of different, but over 1,000 planets, I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. That's excessive, because I mean, when they got to that point, my big thing with it is I'll probably look at it, but when they started really going into all the customization stuff, I went, I'm sure with John's like, how much do I actually need to bother with my ship? It's like, and the bases and whatnot. Because like, my big thing is always the RPG aspects, not the base building, which they introduced with like Fallout 4 and stuff like that.
Right.
And then they said 1,000 planets, and that he was going about, well, you can choose anyone on the planet to pick. And I mean, fuck that. I'm doing minimal. Fuck off.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like, it's like, yeah, you have all of this, and there will be the people that are super excited about that. They want to build their base. They want to make their own custom ship and make it as unique as possible. And they want to find the perfect person to go work in their stronghold. Meanwhile, I'm going to be like, I'm going to get away with as minimal as I can do. And the first person I come across that says they can work there, you're hired.
I'm with you guys on the ship stuff. Like, I can take it or leave it. Like, I'll probably dive into it, have a fun time with it, but that's not one where it's like, I'm super, hyped about. I will say the base building is cool. I enjoy that sort of stuff. So that's one that I am excited for. But I'm also with you guys and just being really excited about, like, just like the skill tree and just like the gameplay aspects. Like that was definitely more of my draw and what I'm more pumped up for. Now, in terms of the 1,000 planets, there's definitely a part of me that's very excited about that, as well as the concern and as well as the feeling of being overwhelmed. That's definitely already creeping in my brain right now.
Yeah, because my biggest thing with 1,000 planets, not even just like I said, with like enemy diversity or like other planets kind of being copy pasted, change like the landscape slightly, or change like how the like the seasons or whatever on the planets or anything like that. It's not even that. It's more of, okay, so it's like, if I don't have to go to these planets, it's like, what is going to be drawing me into that planet? It's like, I don't know if it'll be something, like if they'll have something like lore related, or like you'll get a mission from someone or talk to somebody and they'll talk, like, hear stories about some planets. Like, if you go here, you'll find this or something like that, or anything like that. That's what I'm kind of wondering, is with these thousands of planets, what's the draw to go explore them other than just exploring them?
I could assume needing resources, specific resources, because based on the planets we saw, each one has like different biomes. So I could assume just resources, having to have outposts, and outposts can only get so much of a certain resource from each planet. So I think that would probably be one draw. Other would just be possible, caches and dungeons that are across the different planets, if you need one, would be my thinking.
Yeah, because in big, or in games that have kind of like these RPG games that have these big scopes, it's always fun to go explore as much of the map as you can and find out as much as you can, but it's a lot they're talking about.
Yeah.
It is ambitious as hell. I mean, this sounds like one of the most ambitious games that I've ever personally heard of, just because of the 1,000 planets. Like that tipped it over the edge. It was like, okay, so when they always talked about and hyped up that this is our most ambitious project, our biggest project, they were not fucking kidding. Like, this is insane to me. And it's one of those things, like, I'm still very excited for this game. This is going to be an immediate play for me. I'll probably take a couple days off to play it. Like, I'm very excited for this game, but I do have just like general, even though it's Bethesda, I have just general concerns, because it's like, that just feels like it's so big. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if they knock it out of the park or not, or if they have to dial it back in. We get a little bit closer to release and things get dialed in a little bit. But I mean, I was impressed with it. I was very, very happy with it. With the extended showing of Starfield, and just the showcase in general. How are you guys feeling towards just the whole show, Starfield, whatever? Just how you guys feeling? Any thoughts that you want to know on any of the games we just chat about? What you guys' thoughts?
Well, before we move off of Starfield, like the one thing that I mean, overall, the trailer was very good. And the extended stuff, seeing gameplay and whatnot. The one thing I do want to throw at y'all before we move off is just how do y'all feel about the little bit we saw of the space dogfight?
I thought it looked okay. A little disorienting, but I thought it looked okay. Which I thought the disorienting thing could it could be a good thing in a way because it gives you more of like the feels like you're actually in it sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked not that bad. I was kind of curious about, you know, because it looked like they were just seamlessly switching back and forth between third person and first person. But, you know, when they went to like the third person view, it's like there was no like, you know, there was nothing on the screen, which I know was probably just for presentation purposes. But I'm kind of curious about that because it was the same thing when they were on the planet. The guy like jumped in the air and was shooting, you know, from third person. So I was like, I guess it's like, you know, like other Bethesda games where you can just seamlessly switch between them. So, but I mean, I thought it looked fun though.
I'm not the biggest like space combat or ship combat fan. So for me, I mean, it looked decent, but it's one of those things where looking at it, I don't know. For me, the space combat in games tends to look very similar.
Yeah.
So that one really just comes down to, does it feel good to do it, or is it gonna, at the end of the day, is it gonna be ship flies past you, turn around to shoot at them, try to follow after them, and navigate that way? That some games with ship combat like that can become very tedious.
Fair.
So that I'm a little iffy on. So if it turns out that it feels great, then that'll be a big win. But for me personally, I'm pretty iffy.
I will also say to tag on with the ship stuff is one thing they didn't show in this presentation is how you get from planet to planet. Do you personally get to fly through space, or is it just like almost like a Mass Effect thing where you can just hop? You know what I mean? Like, what is that transportation?
That's what my next thing was going to be, because like, what is the balance here of gameplay? Because we got on land, of course, general RPG narrative stuff, doing combats and whatnot, and then we have the space flight stuff, having to mess with your ships and actual combat and whatnot, and then actually taking the time to explore planets and then build bases for resources and whatnot. So like, what's going to be our balance here of all of these? Because I mean, it's overworld and whatnot, but there's still got to be at least a somewhat standard balance of how much you're doing of each to actually progress on what storyline there is within that universe.
I would assume like between like space, like actually being in ship, being in space versus on the planet, I would say my rough guess would be like 80-20. 80% of the time being on the planets, because maybe it's like in space you may have like space stations that you can connect to and go.
That'd be cool.
And go in, or there may be like asteroid fields where you can go in and like try to find special resources there, and then it's like that may be part of it where like you're trying to head towards this place that they're supposed to be like minerals or something like that you can only access by flying your ship directly to it, and then that may be where some of the ship combat comes in.
Yeah, sure.
That's my guess. I would assume most of the game takes place on planets, and that actually flying, you probably don't spend a lot of time flying between them. The ship stuff might just be like for shorter range travel or something like that.
Okay. So yeah, overall thoughts on just Starfield and just the whole show. Any other games that you want to kind of circle back to and give extended thoughts on?
Let me.
Because while you guys are looking at it, I'll go ahead and kind of shout out my highlights of the show. Obviously, Starfield's going to be my number one. After that, ranking them, I don't know. I just know Starfield's my one, but I can point out some that are like big highlights. Now, while this is a big highlight to me, like as in a general sense, it's not a highlight for me as a fan, and of course, that is the Persona stuff. That is a big highlight of the show, as it is for a lot of people. Diablo 4, that was a highlight because again, that was unexpected. It looked great. Kind of gets me back on track for being excited for the game, as well as the Riot stuff. Riot stuff looked good. That it came out of nowhere. Lots of value there. And then honestly, Redfall. Redfall. I liked what I saw out of Redfall personally. I thought the gameplay looked like a lot of fun. There's some other little tidbits there. Like I did think the Naraka Blade Point looked kind of cool. We'll see if I end up checking it out. But, I mean, I thought it looked pretty cool, though. But, I mean, overall, I thought it was a very good show, personally.
I mean, overall, it wasn't a bad show. Definitely more interested in Redfall now with the actual gameplay versus the animated trailer we got last year. I'm curious what Pentiment's going to be. I mean, because it seemed like it might be interesting, but we really didn't get any clue on what's actually going on other than it's some narrative-esque game. So we're more curious to see more out of that from Obsidian. Irobon actually seemed pretty interesting. Whatever, they didn't really give us story of what's going on other than you're some girl offing a bunch of androids.
Right. And also the
shadow powers.
Also the As Dusk Falls, whatever, was also pretty neat.
Yeah. Riot's teaming up with Microsoft was very surprising and good. Diablo 4 was a nice touch, just seeing as that's been pretty radio silent after, and we just got the mobile Diablo after so long. So suddenly hearing 4 was a very good surprise. But I think my biggest thing for me is going to be Wulong. I'm going to have an interesting action beat 'em up with Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja on it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It did look pretty cool.
For me, the overall show was, I mean, it was a decent show in my opinion. Starfield is the easy standout for, I say, probably most people are gonna say that's their easy standout. But I mean, kind of like you guys, Redfall actually has me interested a little bit now. Before didn't really have any opinion on it other than I guess that's a thing.
Me too.
But yeah, I mean, it at least made me more curious about it. So it'll be something I look at a little bit more. Hollow Knight Silksong, all that did was remind me that I've been meaning to play Hollow Knight. I haven't played it yet, and it's like that puts it a little higher on my list because I mean, Hollow Knight's just been on there for a while, so I'll end up probably playing it now. The Forza Horizon 5 with Hot Wheels, that just looked ridiculous. It's like that. I don't play those games, but man, did that just looked ridiculous and fun. So for fans of that game, have fun with it. And then Flintlock caught my eye. I don't know what to think of this game, but it's definitely gotten on my radar because I couldn't really form an opinion on it right away because it looks interesting, but I couldn't tell if that was a good thing or a bad thing. I'm leaning towards good because it looked fun, right. which is all I was like in a game that kind of has that play style of what we were seeing. That's what matters because you can have. It's like if it doesn't look fun, it's probably not going to be fun. And so hopefully with more information coming about that one, I'll definitely keep my eye on it.
Okay. You guys had to give it a rating. What would you give this show?
I give it an
8. Until Starfield, probably like a 6.5. After Starfield, probably 7.5.
I would probably do a 9 for me. I really liked this show. There was a lot of takeaways for me. I thought it was a very good show. Anything else that we want to shout out from the show, or we want to go ahead and look to kind of wrap things up here?
Well, I'm gonna throw this out there, seeing I just saw it from somebody. Apparently, right now on Steam, ARK and most of its DLC are free to pick up. If anyone hasn't messed with ARK or wants to pick it up with ARK 2, still supposedly coming out next year, that stuff is free currently.
There's a deal there for you. Hot off the press.
I haven't double checked it, so we may cut this here in a bit.
Nope. Expansion maps are free.
There you go, John.
John's like, I am gonna download that. Just snag that real quick.
Yep. I am currently going through the Steam pages. Looking at the Steam page, all of the it looks like all of the expansion maps the only thing that's not free is the Arc Genesis Pass, or the Arc Genesis Season Pass, which might. I don't know if that's the newest one, but that might be the newest one. So it looks like everything up till there has become free.
Yeah, just checking. All this stuff will be free up to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on June 19th. So you have until a week from this podcast uploading to download all this stuff for free on Steam.
Yeah, that's nice because I've played a little bit of Arc, but I never dived too deep into it, and the additional maps always looked interesting, but there was I like I said, I never dived too deep into them where I wanted to buy all of the extra maps. What are you looking at?
Apparently, people have already set up a change.org petition to cancel Kojima's Xbox exclusive game.
Why? Because it's Xbox exclusive?
Yeah.
Well, they're fine if he makes a PlayStation game, but not fine if he makes an Xbox game.
Correct.
Come on now.
It's only got like 1,500 signatures, but so it's not like it's gonna carry a lot of weight.
1,500.
Yeah. Oh man. But okay. Look, I will say I'm pretty excited for. I think it's tomorrow's show as well. Tomorrow should be the extended showcase for Xbox. So looking forward to seeing what will be at that. Like what more gameplay we'll see, because that's kind of like those times like a Nintendo Treehouse where it's like the time to just sit down and dive more into a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll be looking forward to seeing what's going to be on that show tomorrow. In terms of our show, I don't know if Nintendo Direct's happening this week. I want to hope that it is, and we'll find out either tomorrow or Tuesday. But I don't think it is. I'm starting to get a gut feeling that it may not happen this week. So if that's the case, we won't have another show this week, and we'll have our normal show come out again here. We'll record on Saturday, whatever, and talk about the extended showcase. Zach finished The Quarry, so we'll give a full review on that. Looking forward to that.
I'll probably watch the Capcom showcase, which is happening tomorrow.
Yeah, Capcom's tomorrow as well. That's going to be one to potentially chat about for sure. So, if Nintendo Direct happens this week, we'll go ahead and probably get an extra episode out. We'll see. It just depends. We'll see how we're kind of feeling on it. But if not, hey, episode 92 will just come out usually around its normal time. I'll probably still upload it a little early. I'll probably upload it for Sunday, or something, But boys, any last thoughts before I hit the music? Or, am I good to hit the music? We good to get out of here?
No, I don't think I got anything else.
I think you're good to go.
All right, music is hit. I know you guys can't hear it, but last thoughts.
All right. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help us out. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can hit that subscribe button and help us build the community. And you can hit that bell, let you know anytime we upload, especially since we're unsure about the Nintendo Direct.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye.
Yep. If you made it to the end, thank you very much. And if Nintendo does come out with a Direct in the next few days, then we'll be sure to cover it, and hopefully we'll see you there.
Yeah, and hopefully we will get a Direct these next few days. I'm pretty excited to see what Nintendo's got for the later half of this year. I just think that it's a possibility we may not get it because, think about it. I mean, their roadmap's kind of made until at least September. So we'll see. I mean, if they have a Direct, I do think there will be one this month, but it could be the last week of this month. But if it comes out, hey, like John said, we'll get an episode out and chat about it for sure. Looking forward to that. Do everything they said and more. Make sure to go check us out at our website, SparkE3.com. You sign up for free or you sign up $5 a month. I'll go check out the merch store, SparkE3shop.com. Pick up some merch. We appreciate that. Join the Discord, link down in the description below, and check out other shows like AniMan Plus, Terrible Football Show, Spark Bark, talking about movies and stuff. Till next time, guys, have a good one. See you.